what's up and welcome back to my channel. Now today I'm going to be giving a review for the film Predator Killer of Killers. Now this is an animated science fiction adult action horror anthology film directed by Dan Trachtenberg, and you know he's the same director that directed Prey 2 as well and the upcoming Predator Badlands. Now this was also made for like Disney and Hulu, so it's like on the streaming like platform. So I did decide to watch it like the first day it went up. Now, it is like an anthology too, because I was forgetting that it wasn't really just a film, it was like split into like an anthology, so there's like 3 different tales going on like in this particular film. And then in each tale, there are like predators who show up, you know, to fight the, whoever like the hero or the heroine is in that particular like story. Because the first story, and they all had their own names, because I know one was called, I think, The Shield, and one was called The Sword, and it was like, I forgot the name of the other one, but it was like 3 different titles for each 3 different tales. Like the first story was about like these like Viking warriors, like this lady and her son, and the lady is seeking revenge for like the death of her father like many years ago, and she actually encounters like the leader of whoever it was that had killed her father in the past. But then this is when the predator shows up and attacks, you know, and of course they had to take out the predator. And then you had like the second tale, which takes place like in feudal Japan, I think 1619. If I can remember correctly. I know it's in feudal Japan, and you have like these 2 boys, and I think they are like brothers. They are the sons of like this samurai warlord, and then eventually, like, you know, they have like a fight. It looks like it was just a training section, but then the boy like loses, and one of the boys like runs off, and I think you don't see them again. It's like 20 years later when they're like adults, and that's when their father has passed away. But once this happened, a predator, another new different predator shows up in their timeline, you know, and they had to take out this particular predator. Then you also have like the third and final one, which is taking place like in the 1940s, and it deals with like this young boy known as, I think, Torres or something like that, and he's in World War II, where he gets drafted to be like in the World War II, and he has to fight like in the airplanes and stuff like that, and that's when like a predator shows up with their own like ship, you know. So this one is like basically like airborne base. They had like a lot of like air fights, you could say, I guess you could say dog fights, with like the World War US Navy like firefighters, and like the predator ship that's flying around and it's constantly cloaking and stuff like that. But I must admit, it was better than I thought it was going to be. I actually enjoyed it. I thought the first 2 tales were the ones that really stood out, like the Viking tale that took place like I think in 841. I thought that really stood out, and the one with the that takes place in feudal Japan. I thought they were awesome. And the look of the animation is done very well. It looks like awesome. I really like how I looked at it. That's one of the things that drew me to watching this particular film, because I like the anime style of how it looks. It just looks like beautiful to look at. Now, one of the things I thought was kind of interesting, kind of lets it down, but it's okay. It's like you don't never get no explanation for why the predators are here or where they came from or anything, because we already know about the predators, like the predator lore and stuff like that. So you don't really have no explanation for why they're attacking Vikings, or why they're attacking samurais, or World War II like U.S. Navy fighters. You know, they don't really have no explanation for that. But the predators themselves, they all look different. Like it's because it's like 3 different major ones, because they are in 3 different anthology tales, and they all look pretty cool, you know. They look awesome looking. The film is very brutal and like bloody and like violent too. Like there's like a lot of like beheadings, blood splattering everywhere, like arms and legs getting chopped off, bodies getting torn and have torsos. It is very graphic, like very like bloody and violent. But like I say, I thought the third act, I don't know, something kind of off about it. The one like in the forest with like the young boy that can fly the plane, like the U.S. like where he's drafted to World War II. Now that one I thought was kind of like it was kind of like it had a slow pace to it for some reason. I thought it was okay, but then that's not it. Like I said, I want to go into the film and spoil. There are some cool Easter eggs too at the very end of the film. I just leave it at that. Some cool ones like, whoa, okay. But once like there are the 3 anthology tales are told, they actually culminate into this one big like massive tale, and you can tell they were all, each story, individual story, was part of like, this whole big other plot that doesn't really show up until at the end of the film with like the predators. Like I said, I won't spoil it. And even that part, once it got to like the 3rd act, it's just like something kind of like, that's when the fleck started like dragging or something. But I thought the predators themselves like looked kind of cool, you know. Like certain ones, I thought like, whoa, yeah, I could see that getting like a figure, you know, or something like that. But anyway, I would definitely recommend watching this. And I think it's a cool and interesting step. I wouldn't mind seeing more of these animated like Predator films. And again, this is like an anthology, so it's split into tales. But each of the 3 tales do culminate into like a big like story. Or they are part of like the big story at the very end. You know, something going on, so all that comes together. Like I said, I won't spoil it. And there are like voice actors and actresses in this particular film. Like I recognize like Michael Biehn, he voices one of the characters like in the this particular story. But yeah, I guess I would give it a one. What I thought it was gonna be a B. It was really just that entertaining and good. The first two acts, but like I said, once it got to that third anthology tale, and then just after that, like it started kind of like just like dragging. It just the interest of it wasn't really like there anymore, you know. But I just give it a B minus. And like I said, I recommend for like fans of like the Predator films and stuff like that. Probably if you're a fan of like Prey too, you know. But anyway, please leave a comment and subscribe too as well.